What's up, you fight fans? We're back at it again. It's me, Jason Filthy Jones, bringing you another fight talk, breaking down everything that happened down in MMA last week. Now, guys, so much going on, so much to talk about, so many different promotions, so many different events. First off, we got ONE FC, we got Bellator, we got UFC, and then we're about to add in PFL coming back. Dude, I have MMA coming out my ears, and I'm ready to hit you guys with everything, giving you guys all the recaps and breakdowns like always. So, with so much to talk about, let's jump right into it. Of course, I have to start off with ONE FC that went down on Wednesday night. We had Christian Lee going up against Timothy Nasdookin, and guys, oh my God, Christian Lee coming out looking just like a phenom, 22, young in the sport, really young in the sport, but phenomenal martial artist. Really good ground game, really good striking, really good power. Just putting the pace on Timothy Nasdookin, and I thought this fight was totally going to go differently. Thinking about how Nasdookin has a lot of power in his hands, and he's a really heavy-handed striker, really able to devastate and put people out and just put a continuous pressure. Did not even work for him. Didn't even go that route, thinking that Christian Lee was pretty much going to have to take him down just to get the win, to use his ground game in his submission game, and just didn't even go like that. Christian Lee ended up putting a pace on him, able to really just throw some heavy shots on him, knocking him to the floor, and then ground and pounding him and just picking his shots and devastating Timothy Nasdookin, showing that his growth in MMA is just developing and getting better. Now, my thing with him is how much longer is he going to sit at ONE FC? I understand they pay him really good. I understand he has a really good challenge. He has really good challenges there. Just would like to see how he would mix it up with either the UFC or Bellator, with a couple of the American fighters that are over here, seeing how he would do out here. Now, understanding that Christian Lee also used to train out in OC, now lives in Hawaii, and is just pushing on to the pace and training with a lot of different MMA fighters. I'm just wondering how he'll stack up in those divisions, especially being in the lightweight division, which is a heavy stacked division. Now, we'll have to see if he's ever going to be crossing over and coming over to the States and fighting in one of our promotions. If not, wouldn't mind seeing him continuously just reign over in ONE FC and see how he handles it. Hopefully, they'll have a good choice up for his next opponent. Haven't really seen anybody that's standing out right now, but be on the lookout for him. Now, with all that, we got to jump into Bellator. Bellator had a phenomenal event that went down on Friday, which was Nemkov versus Phil Davis. But before, of course, we jump into that main event, got to talk about a couple of the other fights. First off, got to give a mad props out to Raymond Daniels, Paul Daly. Paul Daly put on a phenomenal fight. One of the best first-round fights that I've seen in a very long time. And just a back-and-forth, really tough, gritty fight. Paul Daly almost pretty much getting taken out of there, but Paul Daly able to come back and get that TKO win against Sebastian Osama. Now, be on the lookout to see where they're going to be stacking up Paul Daly next. If he's going to be able to be back into that title contention, hopefully he'll get back up there. If not, wouldn't mind seeing him match up with a couple of other guys in Bellator. He's just a phenomenal fighter. Still has one of the heaviest left hooks out there in the game. And with that, guys, got to talk about Corey Anderson, the co-main event, coming out just dominating. And I always tell you guys, I'm probably going to butcher this guy's name all the time. Yasir Miradov. He was not able to have any answer to Corey Anderson's ground and pound game. Corey Anderson just looking like he's ready to go, raring to go, and just phenomenal with his heavy hands, able to pick him off, really good striking, and has a really good ground game to keep him out of trouble being on the ground. Now, his next matchup is going to be Ryan Bader, which is a phenomenal matchup. Can't wait to see how this is going to go down. They used to train together, and there was a lot of back and forth going there where they're not really talking about how their sparring sessions and training sessions went, but it's seeming that both of them think they have each other's number. So I can't wait to see how this matchup is going to go. Now we got Ryan Bader, who's pretty much a phenomenal wrestler, heavy-handed, but has been looking way better at heavyweight than he is in light heavyweight, trying to come back to get that title back in his hands so he can be a double champ against Corey Anderson, who is just looking like a phenom, coming and just bringing some really fast-paced striking and heavy ground and pound. Can't wait to see where they're going to go with that matchup, but we're going to have to wait for that later on in the Grand Prix. All right, guys, now we got to jump into this main event, which was, of course, the light heavyweight champion of Bellator, Vadim Nemkov, going up against Phil Davis. Now, with this fight, it just seemed like Phil Davis never showed up. He seemed very lackadaisical, and I get it. He is a slow starter at the beginning, but it just seemed like he never got onto that pace where he was able to put Vadim back, and he wasn't using his ground game, wasn't really taking Vadim down at will, just sat on the outside and got picked off by Nemkov, and Nemkov was able to eke out that decision. Now, we're going to have to see where they're going to go with the next couple of fights that are coming up in the Grand Prix, and be sure to look out for the next couple of fights because, of course, we have the biggest fight that everybody's been waiting for to see how it's going down. We have Anthony Rumble Johnson coming back to MMA, fighting in Bellator against Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero has moved up from middleweight and is now coming back at 205. I can't wait to see this matchup. Yoel Romero is a freak of nature, and Anthony Johnson just has some physical power that is astounding when he's able to put it to somebody. Now, we'll be breaking down that as we get into the more of the Grand Prix. But with that, guys, we have to move into this recap of UFC Fight Night, which was Kevin Gastelum versus Robert Whittaker. And guys, this fight card was a great fight card. First off, a couple of mentions that I have to give it up to. Austin Hubbard and Dakota Bush, they put on a really good fight. Shouts out to Dakota Bush. His debut fight was a short notice fight. Really never came up in the fight, but of course did basically kind of gassed out, but showed that he has a high level MMA fighting style where he has really good striking and a really good ground game, was able to get out of some really dangerous positions, and just got overworked by Austin Hubbard. Now, guys, be on the lookout for them. I can't wait to see how they're going to match up in the next couple of fights. Also, props out to Jessica Penne. She was looking great. Kind of a weird match. Still don't know if she really won the match, but it wasn't like it was a robbery or anything. Also, Tracy Cortez, got to give a shout out to her. She looked phenomenal. Just a spitfire coming out of nowhere. Ground game is great, phenomenal. Putting Kush on her back the whole time, using her ground and pound, and just basically outworking her. And guys, if you didn't catch that fight, you guys need to go catch that fight. She is fucking hot. Banging. Oh my God, she's fucking phenomenal. Anyways, besides that, she's a great fighter. Make sure you stay watching her. I can't wait to see her up in her next matchup. All right, before we jump into this co-main event, guys, I got to talk to you guys and say it sucks we didn't get the co-main event that we were supposed to get, which was supposed to be Jeremy Stephens versus Jakar Close at lightweight. Seems that when Jeremy Stephens got a little heated at the weigh-ins and the face-off where he pushed Jakar Close got injured. Anyways, I'm not saying you're scared. I'm not saying you were looking for a way out. I'm not saying you're being a little bitch. I'm just saying it just sucks for the fight. But Jakar Close, I hope you still have to meet up with Jeremy Stephens. I think that would be a great matchup, basically for both of you. But we'll just have to see. Now, with all that, got to get into this co-main event, which was Andrei Arlovski. Now I got to get into this co-main event, which was Andrei Arlovski versus Chase Sherman. Now, guys, I don't know what the UFC is going to do. Old man Arlovski just coming out, eking out decisions like ridiculously. Now, do you put him on for a title shot? I mean, if I think of it, I think Arlovski's basically on a 4-fight win streak right now. And he is looking kind of hard to beat. I doubt the UFC is probably going to give him that title shot. We'll have to see. But his fight against Chase Sherman, he was just basically putting it on Chase Sherman, was able to defend the takedowns, put the shots on him, and get Chase Sherman basically out of there with a unanimous decision. And same old man Arlovski, you can't count him out. I wouldn't bet against him anymore. Have to give him props, giving him mad props, especially for how long he's been in the UFC and how many fights he has under his belt. Now, all I'm wondering is, what do you do with him next? Because he's basically knocking on that door of that top 10 and just saying, hey, one of you guys got to fight me. Now, we'll have to see who they mix him up with in the top 10. Can't wait to see the matchup. See if Arlovsky's able to get past him. If he's able to get past him, I don't think you can deny him a title shot. But what do you guys think would happen with Arlovsky versus Francis Ngannou? Just saying. With that, guys, got to get into that main event, of course, of Kevin Gastelum versus Robert Whittaker. Now, guys, this fight alone was the top of the heap of showing who should be going after that middleweight title. Robert Whittaker came back just looking like a straight devastating machine, putting the pace and just showing how his all-round game has evolved. And he is a phenomenal defensive wrestler, has great striking. His combinations with his lefts, mixing in his right high kick, just is pure freaking beautiful skill and straight technique that is just holding up, and it's hard. He is one of the hardest fighters to fight in the middleweight division. And don't take this as I'm discrediting Kevin Gastelum at all. Kevin Gastelum looked like a straight beast. He wasn't able to get up and get to his normal fighting style to get back to basically being able to put the brakes on to Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker was just showing that he has that advanced striking skill and he has a really good read on the game. And it seems like his heart is right back up in there. Now, we're going to have to see if Izzy is even going to be willing to take on the challenge of Robert Whittaker. To me, I feel like he's answered all questions. He's looked like a totally different fighter. It looks like he has the focus and the mindset ready to go against Izzy. And I think they really do need to match up next with Izzy and Robert Whittaker. But we're going to have to see how the UFC plays it out. Now, with Kevin Gastelum, it sucks. He's still sitting back down there at 8. And like I said, don't discredit him. He is still a phenomenal fighter. I think probably anybody from the 10 all the way up to probably about the 5th spot, Kevin Gastelum could bring it any time of the night. It's just like one of those rankings like lightweight. Any given night, anybody can be beating the next top guy. We'll just have to see. Now, who do you toss at him next? It's not that many choices right now for him. We'll have to sit back and see who they're going to give him. I doubt they're going to give him Chris Weidman or anybody like that. He's already been beaten by Chris Weidman. He was beaten by Jack Hermanson. He's also training partners with Marvin Vettori, so I doubt that's going to be anything. Probably, I mean, He's also fought Till, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see a matchup between him and Derek Brunson. That could be a good matchup. We'll just have to see how it goes. But also, Derek Brunson is coming off of a win. But cards were great. Fights were great. Now, with all that out the way, guys, we could talk about the bullshit that also went down on Saturday night, which I have to be talking about. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. Now, guys, before I even dive into this, I have to tell you guys, that whole card just seemed like a fucking shit show, man. I hope you guys didn't pay $50 for that. Don't know what they're going to do with Thriller. Also, to me, I have to ask you guys this. Please let me know in my comments. Let me know. I don't care if you hit me up on IG. I don't care if you hit me up in the YouTube comments. Anywhere on social media, you guys know where it's at The Filthy Report. Let me know what you guys thought of this fight. Because to me, it just seems just like, I don't know if the fight was rigged. I don't know if it was an early stoppage. I don't know if Ben Askren took a dive. But guys, come on. We've seen Ben take way more damage than that and is able to deal with it. It seemed like Ben was just starting to get a little bit started. And don't call me a homer just for the MMA fighter. It just seemed like this was straight bullshit. There was no 10 count. Ben didn't really look wobbled. He literally got up, was walking towards the ref, and the ref just called it. I would say that Jake Paul did hit him with a really heavy shot. But, I mean, did it seem like it was a straight cash grab? Yeah, it does. Now, with Jake Paul, everybody's like, oh, well, no, he's a real fighter. Dude, you fought a ground game fighter who doesn't have that great of a striking game. Okay, you fought a real fighter. I'll give you that. You can consider yourself a real fighter. But you need to watch your mouth for especially calling out Nate Diaz. And also, I do like what Dustin Poirier and a lot of other guys are saying. You want to talk all this shit? Why don't you go box Mike Perry? I would like to see you fight Mike Perry too. That's a heavy-handed, or Tyron Woodley. Fight any of these guys that are actual phenomenal strikers that have a lot of speed and have really good crisp boxing. And if you're really going to talk shit, straight to Dustin Poirier, let him get finished up with Conor McGregor, and I guarantee you, because it's you talking shit to Dana White, he will set up that match for any of his guys for you to box them. And I will literally pay the money just to see that happen, because I am waiting for Jake Paul to get his ass handed to him by some real fighters. Now, don't discredit Ben Askren. He is a real fighter. It's just he wasn't able to use his real element that he is normally, naturally able to use, which is his ground game. He is not a striker fighter. I would like to see Jake Paul go up against some real strikers, especially some MMA fighters. And if you really want to take a chance, let's see you go do some MMA. Anyways, let's get that out the way, and let's get to these freaking breakdowns of these next MMA shows that are coming up this week, because we have a ton of MMA coming up again. And of course, I'm talking about ONE FC. Starting off with ONE FC that's going down Wednesday night at 10 p.m. We have a phenomenal matchup and a phenomenal Muay Thai matchup with 4-ounce gloves. Dude, if you guys have not watched Nikki Holston or John Wei Parr, you guys are missing. These are some phenomenal Muay Thai fighters, strikers that are straight legends, and they are going up on this Wednesday night on ONE FC in the cage doing some straight up Muay Thai. I can't wait. Don't know how that match is going to go, because these guys are straight skilled strikers. Now, in the co-main event, we have Reese McLaren versus Yayu. Now, guys, once again, I'll probably butcher his name. Yayu is a phenomenal Japanese flyweight knockout artist. He is a beast. And don't count out Reese. Phenomenal ground game coming out of Australia. I can't wait to see how this flyweight matchup is going to be going down. I would probably think the loser of this matchup will probably end up getting Demetrius Johnson. Can't wait to see how that goes. Now, sitting at the top of the card, we have John Lineker, an ex-UFC fighter, fighting Troy Worthen. Dude, this is a straight banger. Do not blink. Do not go to the bathroom. Do not go try to take a piss. Do not grab some chips. Just keep your eyes glued to the screen, because John Lineker is heavy-handed and loves to knock people out. Good God Almighty! If you guys can go back and watch some of his fights from the UFC, you will understand what they mean. He is always on pace, always comes forward, always gritty, hands of stone. Be sure to be looking out for that fight. Now, guys, got to get into this UFC 261 pay-per-view breakdown. And I have to admit, guys, this card is fucking stacked from bottom to top. I mean, sitting at the top of the prelims, we got Randy Brown going against Alex Oliveira, the Brazilian cowboy. Guys, this matchup is a great matchup. Would love to break it down, but I have so many other guys to break down on this card. It's freaking crazy. And the main event card, from top to bottom, from bottom to top, no way you look at it, the card is fucking stacked. You have Anthony Smith going up against Jimmy Crute. You have Uriah Hall going up against Chris Weidman. Then 3 fucking title fights. Valentina Shevchenko going up against Jessica Andrade. And then you have Rose Ninja, Doug Rose going up against Weili Zhang. Oh my God. Phenomenal. And then the rematch of the year, of course, we got to be talking about Kamaru Usman going up against Jorge Masvidal. Now, I'm only going to be breaking down the title fights right now, but please don't miss this card. It's going to be a freaking banger. I can't wait for it. Now, getting into these title fights, of course, we got to start off with Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade. Now, guys, as much as I love that Jessica Andrade has moved up to 125 from 115, and we have seen her fight at 135, at 115, and now fighting at 125, I feel this is a phenomenal weight class for her. She has a lot of power, a lot of strength, has really good wrestling, really good throws, is able to knock almost anybody out. But we have her going up against the beast in the machine of Valentina Shevchenko, the Bullet. She is no joke, no slouch. Has been the original flyweight champion, has beat the brakes off of pretty much everybody. I can't wait to see how this matchup. She is an all-round fighter, but has some phenomenal striking, but She has been training in mixed martial arts since she was a kid. Guys, the only way I see this happening is basically Valentina Shevchenko throwing out that high kick and just leveling Jessica Andrade. I think Jessica Andrade overcommits to her punches a little bit too much and rushes in too much. And that's a perfect style, especially for this counter striker of Valentina Shevchenko. I think Valentina Shevchenko is leagues above most people in the flyweight division, for the women's division especially. I consider her basically like the flyweight queen of the women's division for around the whole world. And you could put her against anybody, and I just think she's leagues above all of them. I'm sorry to say that. That's just the way I feel, and I just don't see Jessica Andrade being able to get Valentina Shevchenko out there. Now we move into the strawweight matchup with the queen pin Weili Zhang going up against Rose Namajunas, Thug Rose. Guys, this is a phenomenal matchup. If you guys remember Weili Zhang in her last matchup against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, it was a back and forth battle, which ended up being fight of the fucking year. Do not miss this fight. We have Thug Rose, who comes in with a great submission game, also phenomenal striking against Weili Zhang, who brings nothing but power, speed, and heat all the time. Loves to keep it on her feet, but can go to the floor if she has to, but always loves to keep it as a striking matchup and just coming forward and throwing devastating power. Now, how does this matchup play out? Guys, this is one of those matchups I just don't know who to freaking pick. I would like to see Rose win. I just think it's going to be a very hard fight for Rose to battle back in against Weili Zhang. She just has a lot of power and is really quick. Now, if Rose can stay off of the fence, be able to use some kind of trip or takedown to get Weili Zhang, I can see Rose trying to sit up on top of her, getting some ground to pound in, and basically locking up a submission and taking Zhang out. But if it ends up finishing quickly, I can see Zhang putting on some real heavy power shots and just leveling Rose Namajunas. Be sure you guys are watching the matchup. I can't wait to see and with me for right now, until I'm able to see the weigh-ins and everything, I'm probably going to have to go with Rose. Good luck to her. Can't wait to see that matchup. Now, of course, we got to be talking about this fucking banger matchup of Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. Now, guys, I get it. A lot of people are like, Jorge Masvidal getting a title shot again? What the fuck's going on? Guys, got to admit, Jorge Masvidal was the only one that was able to keep up the pace with Kamaru Usman and pretty much not get put out of there. But he was getting his ass handed to him, and that was on a short fight notice. So we'll have to see. Now he has a full camp. We're going to have to see how he plays out. Don't ever count out Jorge Masvidal. He has some phenomenal wrestling, great takedown defense, is able to have some really good power in his hands and really put the pace on Kamaru Usman. But we're seeing a new Kamaru Usman who's training with, of course, Trevor Whitman, and his striking is just improving and catching up to his wrestling. Now, how do I see this matchup going? It's kind of hard for me not to choose Kamaru Usman in this fight again. The reason being is just Kamaru seems to put on a pace that Jorge is able to keep up with, but he's not able to deal with the mixing in of the basically being pushed up against the cage and being able to be taken down, and Kamaru letting him get back up and basically keeping it on the feet. Now, who do I be choosing in this matchup? Of course, you guys understand I'm probably going to be going with Usman, and I just see probably him eking out a decision. You rarely ever see Jorge get finished in a fight. We're just going to have to see how this matchup goes. But like I said before, do not miss this fight. It's going to be a great one. The cards are stacked. And next week, I'll be coming with you guys doing some more breakdowns as we go over another ONE FC, another Bellator, also PFL, and of course, another UFC. All right, guys, and like always, got to round it out with a little bit of fight news. And of course, I'm happy to hear that the Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier fight is back on. We're going down July 10th, and it's going to be in Vegas. Stat card. Can't wait to see how this fight's going to go. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. Conor McGregor and his manager, of course, already predicting that he's going to end up getting this knockout and then moving on and getting the title fight next. We'll see how it goes. Don't really believe all that. He has a really tough task up against him, going up against Dustin Poirier, especially with Dustin Poirier's kick game and seeing if he's going to be able to find a way to defend that calf kick, which is really hard to do. Other fight news, of course, dealing with Conor McGregor. I don't understand where it's coming from, but he's actually saying that he's talking about Nate Diaz being a juiced up head and blah, 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 that Nate Diaz is on steroids and blah, 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 whatever. I feel like he's just doing that to ensure the next matchup, in case he loses to Dustin Poirier again, that he's able to go for that rematch, so they're able to make some more money. And I probably see if McGregor loses the Dustin Poirier matchup and then fights Nate Diaz and loses to Nate Diaz, I don't expect McGregor to be coming back to fighting it at all. He'll probably go run off and do boxing or do his other business adventures. He's filthy fucking rich, so it doesn't really matter. Now, other things going on, we have a lot of people talking about, of course, that Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight. And I'm kind of agreeing with what a lot of people are saying. I really feel that Thriller is really ruining boxing as boxing starting to come back up. I mean, we have the Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury fight that's going to be coming up. We have Deontay Wilder finally getting back on track and is going to be doing another boxing match. I mean, Canelo's out there. There's some really heavy, really skilled boxers out there that are being overlooked because of Jake Paul's bullshit shenanigans and his marketing strategy. And don't get me wrong, I'm not mad about him making money. I just wish that boxing can start going down the path how MMA has started to take it over combat sports and going down that path and having the really skilled matchups going up the way that they should go. Now, with all that, guys, that's pretty much all I got for you guys this week. Not that much news going on. Probably be hitting back into you guys later on in the week, letting you guys know what's going down in a couple of the MMA news. Also, gonna be making some changes up with Fight Talk, gonna be making some changes up with the YouTube, and also we're gonna be starting some IGTV, and I'm gonna be bringing in some people, starting up my podcast finally, and bringing in some people that give basically some debates against of how my thinking is with MMA and boxing and combat sports. And be on the lookout for that. And like always, guys, help your brother out, man. I need to get this filthy report out there. I need to get Fight Talk out there. So do me a favor. Click the subscribe button. Hook a nigga up. Come on, man. You know what I need. Also, do me another favor. Huge favor. I'm asking a lot here. Please, if you have any time, hook it up with a couple of shares. Hit that like button so I can beat the YouTube algorithm and everybody can start finding out about Fight Talk. And like always, guys, if nobody loves you, I love you. I am Jason Filthy Jones, bringing you the dirtiest information with the cleanest style, like always. Till next time, guys. Peace.